SBA EIDL Loan increase updates August the 11th, 2022. What will be happening over the course of the 10 years coming up? Something happening with the EIDL, very suspicious activity going on there, as well as the PPP still, grant opportunities, the employee retention tax credits, building strategic relationships and partnerships with the right people, such as brokers, underwriters, lenders, and a whole facility of a team to help you maximize your funding, as well as the 8+ bank statement issues, just some stuff happening this week. All of this and more I will be sharing with you in this video. I hope to go for no longer than 30 minutes, but you guys know me. If I've been releasing a lot of content, you've been seeing how it goes a little bit extra, but I'm going to try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point with each and every one of these segments. But before I get started, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker / agent expert. I've helped out a lot of businesses of all backgrounds, industries, get the funding that they need to continue to build, grow, expand, and even get out of a tight pinch. You probably heard me say that before or multiple times. And the truth is this: I very much do care about you as a human first, as a person, your well-being, your health, your spirit, your physicality, how you're doing, and then business comes second. Now, that's how I approach this, and you can speak to a lot of people that I've helped, and they'll say that I do that. I stick to those, and my mission is to always help you get the best funding available, whether it is through private lenders, non-private lenders, online banks, traditional banks, business credit building, fixing, improving credits, and a lot more things that I release on this channel as well as in other places. So welcome in. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Let me know in the comment section. Give me a wave. Let me know who's in here watching. I can't always tell. You might have to give StreamYard permission to comment. And then second, once you do, I can kind of put you on the screen just so everybody in here can see in a way, hey, what question are you asking, or who's commenting, and what do we have to answer? And give me a hashtag live if you're watching right now, or a hashtag replay / team replay if you're watching this later down the line. Now, some very important stuff. I know I want to get the EIDL part out of the way, and I want to focus on the strategic partnerships. And I'm going to touch up on a little bit about that. I have a lot of people this week, last month, 3, 4, 5 months ago, and it'll continue to happen in the future, where they're all going about, hey, I'm trying to find the lowest price offer out there. I'm just trying to see how much I want to get the maximum amount of funding, but I probably didn't get the best rates, or I didn't get the best terms, which is a very common thing if you're looking for unsecured financing. But I can help you better understand your offer or your offers. So you can always present them to me if you need help. But don't complain. Don't get shady. Don't become a ghost and you start fading away into the bushes. And if you saw my latest email broadcast, I appreciate you guys. I really do love you guys. I do care. I wouldn't be doing this just to do it. I care about you guys. And I did send out an email recently on feedback. And if you just neglected it, you just glanced at it, you didn't even open it, or just opened it and didn't even go through it thoroughly and already came to a conclusion, please take the time to read that email. And if you're not a part of it, I recommend you do. In fact, you can get a free questionnaire form started down below, where you'll get a customized and personalized email response on your best funding option and options, very thoroughly broken down from top to bottom like no one else will show you. So that'll be down there. I'll probably show you guys at the end. But back to strategic partnerships very shortly. What I mean by those two keywords is, don't just go out seeking whatever you can. I'm not going to start naming those companies that a lot of people go to because they find the ads, or somebody supposedly recommends to them, or another agent or / broker who doesn't know what they're doing, this just trying to do it for the biggest commission that they can get. I don't do it for the money. And even if I do, well, it's not like the money is the first thing I look at. I look at you. I care about helping you, put you in a position where you're supposed to succeed, not only short term, but also long term. What can you take now? What can you get in the future? And that's what I'm going to speak about in a moment after the EIDL is, please stick with me. Do not just go away when I tell you about the EIDL updates. If you just are here to hear that part and nothing else, you are, oh my God, I can't even say this enough. You are messing up big time if you are just here for just one part and don't listen to it all. And we're going to try to get out of here soon. But strategic partnerships, means, and I'll tell you that more in a little bit, is hey, sometimes a direct lender is the way to go, and you can build a strategic partnership with them, with myself, the underwriters, and then we can get you even higher levels with that same lender, or we can move you into a different tier lender. And then from that tier, then we can move you into probably a different type of repayment. Maybe then we move you into the SBA loan. And then when you get the SBA loan, we can also get you a line of credit by that point. That's what I mean by building a strategic partnership, not just going to one direct lender all the time. That's not always the answer. Although I do have direct lender partnerships, and I have plenty of them. But you'll see a lot of the times where I refer you to other types of programs, other like brokerages, where we have a lot of in-house lenders that are the best lenders out there. And why you want to do it this way is because we all know these lenders and we're very strategic with the underwriters. And there's a lot more benefit that comes with that than at the same time just going to a direct lender or just trying to shop for the lowest price. Don't do that. Please don't go that route. Stop trying to get offers after offers too, because that can hurt your chances. I just had a lot of people recently who came back to apply with me. Their circumstances changed. And guess what? Yeah, they have reduced offers now. They reduced offers of 40, 50,000. And that's what happens when you put yourself in a position where you had the chance and you didn't take it. Now you have to start lower, but you still have to build your way up. That's what you want to do. Build your way up if the benefit exceeds the repayment. Now, on EIDL loans, there is a couple of acts that have been passed. This is all going through Administrator Guzman. A lot of stuff going back and forth on the past administration, who was in charge at this point and who was accepting the EIDL loans under a different administration, under a different time in the beginning when people were getting the EIDL loans before the increases and a little even after the increases. Like a lot of stuff has been happening where there's fraudulent activity being reported. And I've seen a lot of these cases and a lot of these stories, especially with PPP loans being more frequent now. So think about this. If you received an EIDL loan and you didn't abide by the way you needed to be using these funds, you were doing some illegal activities, laundering money, or you just got in somehow and you got accepted and you were surprised you did, and you're like, well, I have the money now, I'm going to go use it however I need to be using it for whatever that means. So there's a lot of fraudulent activity happening right now. And I have actually a tab. I may just go through it very quickly. I don't want to go through the whole letter or whatever was said, because I have more information and more insight above just this letter alone that I cannot disclose everything. So really what's happening is underneath the previous administration, which Guzman is saying, that there's been a lot of fraudulent activity just appearing, and these files weren't looked at very closely. And that's in part to do with the current administration in a way too, because there's been a lot of approvals. They've even opened up increases at that time. And it's like, why didn't we just thoroughly look through these? People have been spending that money. We should have been doing an audit a little bit more beforehand. I think about it that way. And then a lot of stuff like that, people not being accountable for how they use their funds, the legislation, the Federal Reserve, a lot of stuff happening right now where they're saying, hey, despite the progress that we've made in helping a lot of businesses attain the EIDL loan, there's a lot of fraudulent activity that's now appearing. And that's from the past administration, not all underneath the current one. So there's a few acts that are going to be enforced, and you should look at this as a law. Now, I won't go into all of those little details, but I'm just going to leave it at that and say there's going to be about a 10-year investigation on fraudulent activity with SBA EIDL loans on top of, and that's not even including the PPP loans. So if you were that individual, it's going to come through, and just be careful and be aware. Now, I spoke about how there's still a lot of funding and a lot of the $7 billion that's being looked at to be released, which isn't. And there's no indication if it'll come back within the next 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, the next year. So what I say is sit tight, but make sure you have all the documents ready. Excuse me, everything you were supposed to download from your EIDL portal before it shut down, that's what you should have ready. Make sure you have your 4506T forms with a few other ones in hand. And if it were to ever open up, you'll be ready to go and you'll be one of the first to get in. It's kind of that quote unquote first come, first serve mentality. And so that's what's kind of happening with the EIDL loan, and that's what's expected. I knew there was going to be a lot of these problems. It just came up just recently, and I was just waiting for this to happen for me to get even more back inside knowledge to hear about all of this. So interest rates, and then I'll get into the strategic partnerships, and I'll get on the share screen in a moment, and then I'll go into some of the other parts. So what you guys need to understand that is happening right now is a lot of changes are taking place. And a lot of people are scrambling to receive funding. A lot of people are just shattered that, hey, I didn't get an EIDL loan. Now, what do I do next? Where do I jump into? And I have my notes out in here in case you guys are wondering where I'm looking. It's because I have specific information that I wanted to write down for today's video, and I make sure I didn't miss a beat on any of that. So that's the part that I've written down. And then, so with the interest rates in September, we're probably going to see another spike. We don't know if it'll be 3/4. We don't know if it'll be as much as it is, maybe by 0.5%, maybe a little bit less. They're not trying to give out as much as they did previously. They're trying to limit it to less. And a lot of stuff is happening in different markets that I won't get into. Mortgages, as you guys probably are aware of, and a lot more stuff in pertaining to real estate. And then stocks and bonds, the stock markets. A lot of stuff's there that not a lot of investors want to put their money in unless the interest rates go the opposite direction, which will kind of help. But that's what's happening there. Now, secondly, strategic partnerships. And I wrote here on my yellow dandy notepad, you can see right here. It's on the other side, not on this one. But I wrote down, you have to understand that you shouldn't just go start to apply anywhere and everywhere. I've spoke to so many people just these last 3 to 6 months, above all, who come back to me and go, hey, what do you think about this offer? Well, why wasn't there any feedback presented to me 3 months ago when we were going to look at this specific offer? You went cold. You went AWOL. You disappeared into the bushes. You became Casper the Unfriendly or Friendly Ghost, however you want to see this. And now you're coming back with feedback? Well, why are we on another topic when we were discussing this offer that you never gave me feedback on? So if you guys saw that broadcasted email I sent you, I did it out of love, not out of negativity, no aggressiveness. I thought these things through. You guys know my character. I wouldn't do that to you guys. The reason I sent that email broadcast where I asked, can I get your feedback in terms of, hey, when an offer comes through, before we start the application, when we're in the thick of underwriting, when you're presented an offer, and I need your feedback, and I ask for it in whatever channel that may be. It may be in an email, text message, direct messenger. It may even take a phone call. Maybe not right away, but at a point it will. Will you be there for me like I've been there for you personally and in business? That's the question you should be asking yourself in the back of your mind. Not this, how can I get the best interest rates? How can I get the best terms and rates? And how can I get the best amount of funding? Instead of, ask yourself, how will I respond in times of uncertainty? How will I respond when I'm very certain about something? Instead of just going ghost. Nobody needs to deal with that. Nobody wants that energy and time. So this is your wake-up call. If you're that person who's kind of left me on scene, like, what did I do? I'm just not even pressuring them. I'm just asking them a simple question. Just trying to get some information out. And I don't get any feedback in return. Don't start with me. I don't want that energy or time sent my way. Nobody has time for that, right? You may be that person. You've probably been in my position. So you can relate. You can say, hey, yeah, a lot of people are tire kickers. A lot of people come in here thinking they're entitled or deserving. Yeah, but I spoke to you 6 months ago. You come back to me now. I gave you the information to go take action on, but you never did it. So who's in the wrong? I'm sorry. I want to take the blame off your shoulders, but in this case, I can't. Yes, I'll take the blame off of people trying to scam you, people out there giving you fluff, theory-based funding programs, go through this credit program and do it this way and not that way. I'll take that off your shoulders. But when it comes time to, hey, are you punctual? Will you show up? I know you get busy, probably run multiple businesses. You can't get back to me right away. I understand that. But even a simple email, hey, Michael, I can't get back to you right now, but I'll get back to you soon. Maybe not even a time. I don't expect always in a week. You don't have to give me that, but it's better. Just know your expectations. Know that you're getting in with an expert who knows their stuff, who wholeheartedly cares about you first. The business can come last. Yes, your business is a priority. It's the main frame, but I care about you. You're not a number to me. Don't think when you come to me, you're dealing with 500 people. You're dealing with one person who runs his business independently, who has connections personally and business with direct lenders or non-direct lenders or direct lenders, but through a different brokerage company where we all partner, which was I'm going to get into in a second here. The underwriters, the lenders, the team, we're all in communication to help you go from if you're here to here and then even up here. Or if you're there, how to go up there. If you're here, you go down here, how to get from there to there. And then it's all a stepping stone. So you guys have to take that very serious. And that's why I wrote down here plus feedback. If you guys received that email, that I took that email and I took it about 45 minutes. I even thought it through after I was done. I looked over and I thought maybe this doesn't need to be said this way, but it did. Did this need to be added on top of this? Yes, it did. So you guys are going to hear me say a little bit more about strategic relationships, and I'm going to jump into the share screen now and show you guys exactly what it is I am talking about when it comes to that. Here it reads strategic partnerships for funding in parentheses without messing up badly. Now, many of you have already passed this phase. A lot of you look and feel like this lady who's in this image. Tell me if I'm wrong. Even if you haven't messed up badly, you might be in the beginning phases where I heard about this ad. My friend recommended me this funding company. Oh, well, there's other direct lenders I can go to, or there's this brokerage company. But you're already in a massive amount of headaches before you can even ask the other questions, like what is the underwriting process? How does this work? What information do I need? How do I know all of this? How have I been that lady? We'll call her Jan in the picture. Because I've been in your position. It's hard to receive funding without knowing all of the details. You have to know the underwriting. I have all of that information. Come ask me. Don't go off to 10 different programs and you're going to end up like Jan here in the second phase after you try to ask all these questions. You didn't even get into the second phase. And you're here at your desk. You're sitting on your couch. You're at your dining table having dinner with your family. And the only thing you can think about is what happened earlier in the day or in the week. It comes and it goes. You're in the moment, but then you get out. You come back in. I've been there, done that. Receive funding multiple times through different sources, through different lenders. Try to add one funding here, and then months down the road, had an additional there, had an additional here. I didn't get anything in the very beginning with zero revenue. I had to start my business from scratch, and then I built one, and then I built another one, then another one on top. And you have to take calculated risks. And this is what I mean by that. Don't just go and apply or anywhere and just be okay with it, which you won't be for most of the time, because for two reasons. I know you won't be okay if it's an unsecured financing option and you're like, well, I can't afford to get those types of rates. I wanted a longer term. I can take the money, or I don't even want it. I didn't even want that amount. I wanted more. Or secondly, you're like, yeah, I understand this, but what other alternatives are out there? I've been here before. Michael, what better do you have to offer me? And I'm going to take the time to go through your file. I'm going to see what other direct lenders may be the best route to go, if that is. Or, hey, we have a bundle of partnerships here, and I have relationships with those direct lenders already. So, hey, this is the way to go. We won't shoot your information out anywhere and everywhere. It's a privacy thing. It's unlawful to do that. So it's not going to hurt your credit if multiple people are looking at your file. It's not like they're going to all be calling you and texting you. That's not how it works. We don't do that. Other companies will. They'll say, hey, just come and apply. And they're not even a direct lender. And then they go send your information everywhere. And then those people are calling you. There's no privacy. There are companies out there like that. The ones that I deal with will not do that to you. And I prefer when you go to a company where you can get seen by multiple lenders who are trying to fight thick and thin. They're like, an A-tier lender comes in, a B-tier lender, but the A-tier lender beats the B-tier lender. But now you know what you would have gotten here. You probably have another offer from a B-tier lender just so you can see what would happen in a situation like this. Or two A-tier lenders are like, nope, I'll give them an extra $10,000. Keep the same terms, keep the same rates. No, but they can get more here. No, but because you went to one direct lender They're trying to sweeten you up and butter you up and say, hey, you pay off all these positions right now, and I'll give you the 500K or the 600K with these kind of months and these kind of terms. Where if you would have gone over here, you would have probably getting better terms, longer terms, if you need them, or if you would like them at better rates, or probably the same rate, probably the same term. Just depends on the type of service. Maybe we give you the same amount, maybe we give you more or less, but there's a benchmark. You start somewhere and you build up. You don't just say, I'm going to throw in the towel. I didn't get the 500,000 that I wanted, but they were offering me 250K, and then they wanted to add a $100,000 line of credit on top of it. Oh, well, okay, 350,000, better than five. It's better than nothing. I know it's not the amount that I want, but how about I pay this in 3 to 6 months? And then we can refinance under an SBA loan. I'm already on a monthly, or I'm on a daily/weekly. Then I have a line of credit on top of that already that I'm already using. So when I pay off the monthly, or when I pay off the daily/weekly lump sum, and I have the line of credit I can withdraw from, and I'll be fine 3 to 6 months down the road just to use enough from the line of credit while I'm getting approved for the SBA loan. Oh, now my balance is a lot lower. That'll pay off the lump sum, and then I still have the line of credit if I want to pay that off. So now everything that I have is underneath an SBA loan. But because you took funding over here, you're in that contract, or you don't have that early payment ability, or you're in it for much longer, so the transition isn't as smoother, or you can't do it as fast, and they don't even give you that information. You'll go back to where you were in the beginning. I know this because I've been you. You go to Google, you go to Bing, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, YouTube, social media, search bars, everything, you name it. In the newspapers, maybe not there. The yellow pages, and you're at one of those phone booths. You just happen to walk across in New York. You're just like walking. Probably not there anymore, but just get in there. Hey, can I get funding? So you don't want to do that. So back to this. So what I want you to think about, one more thing before I go back into this and I show you some of the steps that I core. The problem is you're going to be bouncing from one thing to the next, just price shopping. And I have people who received offers today who they applied time ago and they got a larger amount, but now they have readjusted offers. I know the reasons. I know what the underwriter said. I have these partnerships with them. They can tell me this. Now, I can't disclose everything, but it's kind of sad sometimes when you had something available. Now you came back. You didn't do the necessary changes I had asked of you for wanting this type of service, but you got approved for something else. Now you got a reduction in about half of what you would have been approved for. Now you only have one offer instead of 5 different offers that would have benefited you. You choose one. And because the circumstances have changed, the terms and the rates, higher rates, lower terms. And you're in a hole now. Now, if that funding makes sense to you and the cash flow is fine and the ability to repay it, the benefit exceeds the repayment, are you going to grow and expand? You're going to grow your revenue month to month. How long will it be? Will it just be a seasonal thing? Will it be year over year? For how much time? In the short and or long term? That's what you need to look at. Are you doubling, tripling, quadrupling your profits? Is it just to stay afloat? Is it just for relief? Maybe a line of credit makes more sense. Maybe a lump sum does because you don't get a line of credit. So you got to fix all these things. You got to go through credit repair. There's a lot of different reasons. And so kind of think about this like the SBA is what I want to get into. That's my next point. The SBA is this government organization that has a lot of quote unquote entities, or I'd like to call them programs, like the SBA 7A, the EIDL, a lot of different COVID relief bills, the 504, the Community Advantage Program, the microloan. So in a similar sense, you have to take that approach when you're going through these other brokerages, quote unquote, online marketplaces, but not the wrong ones. Make sure you're going through the right ones. There's companies out there who don't have the best lenders. They don't even explain everything to you, right? There's always a machine working behind it. Even the people you call or talk to. So you don't have enough information. You need that information from a broker, an expert like myself. And so the ability to look at it as, look, this is like an SBA organization. I have a lot of different organizations underneath that entity, the SBA 7A, the Community Advantage, microloan, and there might be other quote unquote SBA government funding programs with a different name underneath the government. But that's in a similar sense what you want to do when you're going through these brokerages And these companies that have multiple lenders, and we all have built these partnerships with them where we give you the access and more flexibility, more benefits, better early payment discounts, better ways to get in and out, to go from one service to the next. If you're on a daily, weekly, how do you jump into this one in a monthly? Because we have those services with those lenders. So now you're starting to see how one specific lender isn't necessarily going to solve everything, even though they show you that. It's not always the route to go. And in some cases it is because of your certain situation. Maybe you've already received funding with that direct lender, and I won't start naming them. So it may be best to go back to them. Or there may be an alternative with this other one. So you have to kind of look at it that way when it comes to seeing if you can get multiple offers. And again, we don't give you dings. We'll let you know if there's hard credit pulls and all that before we do any of it. But usually it's a soft pull, and we're doing right by you. So you don't want to be Jan over here, who is just having her hand over her head, just looking out, wondering what she can do next. She's just frustrated. She's been overpromised, underdelivered. She's been searching over and over for the right strategic partnerships. Not this one direct lender who, they do weeklies, they do monthlies, they do cash advances in a way that's okay. I'm not saying it is bad. What I'm saying is you want to go in other directions a lot of the time because of the benefits. Their standards are much higher, so you may not get the best benefit going to them directly. And then other people will. So I'll send certain people and I'll let them know who it is that is best to deal with. But in a lot of cases, that's not the way to go for the majority. And even if you have a really outstanding profile, it's still not the case that it is always in the best interest for you to go to one specific person. Instead, hey, I know there's 3, 4, 5 you can go to, and actually one is better than the rest, but how about we look and see what would actually be the best? We don't know that until we actually take a deeper look. So there are other advantages to doing this. So be careful. If you've been Jan, we've all been there before. We know how she feels. She's in her office. Maybe she just had a very long day. And on top of that, she's trying to receive help, and nobody is giving her that. She didn't get what she wanted. Her expectations were set too high. What is my next move? Now, how do you win big? How do you become Lisa right here? We'll call her that. Not actually sure if that's her name. But how do you become Lisa, where you have this quote unquote now new lease on life, where, hey, look, I got my funding. I used it how I needed to. It's actually still being used as we speak, but I'm able to take some time away. I'm on vacation. I'm smiling. I'm happy. I'm living my best life. I'm taking my dream vacation to where I want to go. I'm just sitting here looking out into the beach, into the resort. Sun shining, going down my hair, relaxing. No worry right now in the world. I can take 1 to 3 months off without having to worry about my cash flow. Will I put $1 in and get $4 or $5 out of my marketing and advertising? Do I have new inventory for the next 3 to 6 months? Is it enough of each product? Did I get it? No, she's not worried about that. And next to her, her husband could be there too, John, where they both run the business together. And they're living their best life because they're not going through the wrong lenders. They're not falling victim to, hey, but I learned about this company. What do you think? That's better than going, hey, I'm going to go and take that offer because that's what looks most appealing to you, when you actually shouldn't have done that. There's actually a better one here. Or actually that is as appealing, but let me explain to you why that is the case. I'm not trying to flip the script. I'm just trying to help you understand that the majority of people, they go the wrong direction. Like I said again, remember, there's direct lenders and there's indirect lenders. There's a time and place for these direct lenders. There's a time and place for these indirect lenders. And a lot of the reasons that people are moving in this direction right now is because of strategic partnerships. You get myself, get the underwriters, get the lenders who get to know you. We all converse, different team members as well, who we're all in communication with. We're like, hey, we have this better relationship with this lender as opposed to Jimmy over there. If you went to them directly, it wouldn't work that way. So you have to think these things through, and I'll always let you know. Like if you fill out that questionnaire down below in the description, you'll see it. A lot of the times I'm showing you these kind of quote unquote brokerage companies. But I heard about this one and I heard about that one. Yeah, we all work with them too. It's just you're not seeing their name right away. And there's cases where I'll show you their name right away because I work with them directly. But it's not always going to make sense, especially in today's market where the interest rates are going up, where you have to value your relationships with myself, the lender, the underwriters, and our whole team much, much better. So that way you can scale your business if you haven't been there yet or you want to scale it even more or get out of a hole to go back up. Because a lot of lenders are not giving out as much money anymore. They're holding back on that. And if there's another spike in September, right now you better be prepared. And not like I'm saying you're going to get those interest rates anyways, because somebody's saying that I want to get 7 to 9% interest or the interest rates are going high, but you didn't even qualify for that kind of interest. You don't have assets or you don't qualify for an SBA loan or a bank loan or an online bank. Those can even be high. Or even a line of credit, which a lot of cases cannot even be underneath 10% anymore. They're like 12%, 8%. You've seen that come and go. 12% and above. Like 12% is a bargain. I've had a lot of people right now who have been given that. 12%, or you get 150, 160,000 in a line of credit for 12 months. Oh my goodness. And if you got an SBA loan, we can pay that off in about 6 months. So you only pay 6% interest or less. My goodness gracious. Thank you. But because you went somewhere else, they didn't explain to you, okay, hey, here's a roadmap, Jeremy. In 6 months, we pay this off in 1 to 2 months, 1 to 3 months, we can move you into our other product. You think they're telling you all that? Well, no, they just told me they wanted me to give me a cash advance. That direct lender did? Okay, because that's how they function. That's how they work. Now, you're not going the right way. But over here is a monthly lender who's saying, hey, how about you pay off your 3-4 positions first, and in about 2 months or so, you take what you get here. If it's useful, we come in a fourth, and then we can get you more funding. We can pay this off, can consolidate, get into a true first position, get you upwards of 300 to 500, 600,000, and then that can then be moved in 3 to 6 months into an SBA loan in under a year. Where over here, you're still paying that. You're feeling miserable about this merchant cash advance, which they're not bad. It's just a person's point of view and where you are financially and what you're using it for. It has to be used for growth and expansion. So you're over here still making these payments over the next year, over the next 9 months. But in 9 months, if you would have been over here, you would have had an SBA loan. Probably you didn't want that, but you would have had a better option. Instead of that cash advance probably on a daily, weekly, you would have had a monthly where it makes more sense to you. I'm not saying monthly is the best for everybody. Depends on how you get paid. I would prefer that I have to get taken out of my account 1 to 4 plus times per month than one huge payment at the end of the month where it may fluctuate, may be variable, may be fixed. But I don't want a huge payment. It's going to hurt. How I get paid, cash flow is going to hurt me. It's better to be more predictable, even if those payments are high daily, high weekly. If it's unsecured financing, that's what you come to expect. So back into the share screen, then we'll move on to the next topic, which I have here on my notepad. Let me look. So we just spoke about strategic partnerships here with Lisa. And then the next point I want to make is just feedback. You know, if you want to be Lisa here and you want to be like John, who's probably sitting right next to her, staring at her, seeing how happy she really is. Like I haven't seen Lisa this happy in such a long time. Now, what's the reason? Yeah, partially it is the funding. But the other reasoning is her health is much better. She's feeling spiritually a lot cleaner, a lot happier. She can afford to take more time off and work on herself. So that can become a reflection of her and her business. So some of the steps you want to take in doing this, it's very simple. It's nothing complicated, and I'm going to keep these very short. Find the right broker and agent. And I'm not going to put any like steps, sub-steps underneath that, so I'm just going to keep rolling so we can move on to the next topic. And I know we're over 30 minutes. Guys, I know we said that we'd be done early. You guys know me. I can go sometimes. But this is good information. You guys, I know if you don't appreciate it now, I hope you guys appreciate it in the future, what I'm doing for you guys.
I'm working hard. Like before this, it's already 1:20. I had a lot of things to do, and I'll get back to you guys. I sent you guys an email on the feedback, and at the bottom, if you guys open that up, I said PS. Fridays and Saturdays are my catch-up days, so I'll try to do as much as I can today on questionnaires, email responses. I took time last night. This is how I'm not doing this like because you hustle. I'm doing this because I care. But at around 9 to 10, I think it was, I was sending emails. I responded to the majority of your guys' feedback replies to my email. And if I haven't replied back, I'll get back to you here soon. I do see who, and I make note of it. A lot of you guys who are responsive to my emails, guess what? I move you guys even higher to the top. You would have already been here, but because you responded and you showed that commitment, you showed that action in me, that belief that you will get the best out of me, I move you to the top. And I say, hey, where the heck has this person been? They're not being responsive. But Jeremy right here just sent me an email. I really need your help, Michael. And it's time sensitive. It doesn't always have to be a predicament of time sensitivity. But because they showed that, I go, hey, I'll move your file right up to the top now. I know you submitted one 3 months ago, but I finished and I filled it out, but you've been unresponsive to me. What can I do with that? No feedback? Come back to me 6 months later. I needed your feedback 6 months ago. I'm sorry, I just got caught up, and no, what you're saying is you forgot about me. You forgot about what we were trying to do for you. Now you came back and you received another offer perhaps, but you didn't get what you wanted. Now you got to start low like everybody else. You're not the exception of the rule. And so that happened a lot of cases in this industry, and you have to be very careful about it. But because of my relationships as well, I can put in some words and I can tell the lenders a few things, and I know what's happening in the underwriting process. So find the right broker/agent. I'm an intermediary between the two. Like I said, direct and indirect. There's a lot of times where indirect, that's the best route to go, I would say, in this market. And it will be continuing outside of this market. That's what I would approach it as. And so you can see a lot of different offers if presented to you. Sometimes there isn't as many. Only one will come in and say, hey, this is the best. And I know who's coming in. I know what lenders are looking at it. I know what they saw in the underwriting process. I have that feedback. As opposed to just going to one person, there's a case for that, like I said, but not all the time is that the best in your interest. So be careful about who you go to. And if you partner with me, I'm going to help you find the right ones. And I'll always follow up with you. So that next point, feedback. Here, I know I've said this word like 10 times the past couple of days. Feedback, feedback, feedback. You guys, I cannot overemphasize this enough. Do not even get started if you will not give me the type of feedback that I am looking for. I sent you guys individually those emails. Again, if you're part of the email broadcast, you should have received it. But I please need your feedback when I ask for it. And there are times when I don't ask for it. And you're a star. You're like, came to me. I'm like, oh God, Jeremy just asked me this question. Nice. But then when I come to you, will you be there is the question. I'm not putting the exclamation point as like an aggressive way. I'm just saying, will you be there? Is I'm asking from you. Or will you become Homer, the guy who goes into the bushes from Homer Simpson? I'm sure you guys saw that. Maybe you took it the wrong way, or you just felt bad. You feel guilty. It's fine to feel guilty. It's what you do with that guilt that matters. Will you continue to do it, or will you come out of the bushes, in a lack of better words, and show up? Or while I keep expecting the same result from you? Okay, so that's what I ask of you. I'm very punctual. I protect my energy and my time. Time, I cannot get it back. Money, I can. Time, I needed those 10 minutes to spend it with this person, or I needed to go speak to, my mom was calling me. She needed something very important, but because I took the time with you, and this is how you show it back, just be considerate, be compassionate, be accountable and responsible. That's what it is.
It's a reflection of your personal characteristics that are showing to me whenever I don't see a response. Hey, we have a $3 million EIDL loan here. Why haven't you responded back to me or Ricky? We have no feedback. We don't know what you're doing. But in your mind, you're thinking, I'm just busy. And well, why are you doing this to us? We're helping you. We got this far into the process, or we're in the very beginning. And I'm like, we just had an amazing phone call last week. No pressure, nothing. I just gave you the information. We spoke personally as well as on business, and now you disappeared. Well, I needed some time to gather. Well, yeah, I got that. But nothing, like not even a, hey, Michael, I'm taking time off. I'll get back to you when I get a chance. I'll get back to you in a week, 2 weeks. Hey, Michael, I got back, but 2 weeks passed and I didn't get back to you. I'll get back to you next week, and the next week, and the next week. I hear that all the time. And so nobody has that energy and time for anyone. You don't have your clients or your own customers doing that to you, do you? You don't want them to do that to you. How does it feel if your customer came up to you and said, no, we'll get it later, and you spoke to them directly? No, I'll call you next week. I'll revisit this information when I get a chance. It's fine. There's a point where it's like some feedback isn't always required, and there's times where it's like, yes, it permits you to do that. I just got word from my underwriters. Where were you? I emailed you. I texted you. I even sent you a message on Facebook, on Instagram. I had to go freaking searching for your profile, not because I'm desperate, because I needed to get this information across to you. That because if you didn't get this, you're going to go and find something else that doesn't work. Even if they approved you for something, you're going to be questioning it and go, hey, I actually got a larger amount here. Yeah, but you don't understand that the strategic partnership behind it. That's the problem. And then they come back to me and go, hi, Michael, I took out 2 loans, a line of credit. That's not like a machine gun. I'm not saying that to be negative. If you're taking that the wrong way, hey, this is a wake-up call. This is some tough love for you. Now, back to this document, and we'll go away from it. So step 2, feedback. And then step 3, I'll leave it on bold. I'm going to take step 4 and move it all under step 3. Because I had a few other ones, actually. But I wanted to limit it as much as I could. So step 3, I kind of wanted to put it like an offer in a bit of a value point, but I'm going to leave it like this and say, do you even need the offer? Like when we get to that point where, hey, is this the offer you would like to take? Well, you got to think back, and I'll communicate this with you, is just think about exactly why you needed this funding. You told me you needed it for marketing and inventory, that I have this ratio where I'm putting this money in and I'm getting this money out, or I needed an additional 50,000 to get me to 100,000. But I didn't think about the rates this way or the terms, but I let you know about how they work. So you have to look at this as, what is the benefit? What will I be in the next 1 to 2 plus months? Will this actually double my revenue? Yeah, it will. Okay, well, let's think about that. And then when we come back and get you more funding that you needed to complete your project or projects ongoing, then this time we can increase the terms, lower your rates, get you more funding, get you possibly a better funding partner if that's what it takes, if you're not there yet. Or another option comes in where you get a different type of repayment. But you don't go into this like, well, I'm just going to go and get approved for whatever I want to get approved for, and then find out you came to me later years down the road, you were stacking your loans and you weren't doing this appropriately, which I get a lot of. Now, I have a few other tabs open, and I want to make sure I go through the right ones. I already spoke about the fraudulent activity. I actually have a few people here who I don't want to go into that and disclose that information, but it's on their EIDL fraudulent activity, on some of the things that were happening. So I have information of that. And then over here, I have the hybrid SBA 7A loan. I'm sure you guys saw this already, but I'll speak on, let's see. So I recently came out with content on the 8 bank statement issues most people come out have, and I just released that video today. I didn't broadcast it. I don't want to start flooding you guys a lot with my emails. I know how that can go, and I tend to do it, and it's for your better good. It's for you to
stay on top of this stuff and understand it very well. And so the 8 bank statement issues that I just released, and I have another video that I sent from that one to this one, but I spoke about a load of people recently who have been getting declined for funding, more specifically those in specific industries and those who are doing like millions upon millions per month, and why they've been declined. And I've had to send them emails. They send me their bank statements. A lot of them did this week, many the last weeks, and then there will be still some more moving forward because they don't see all this content all the time, or at least the first time around. But I'm seeing these 8 bank statement issues that I won't go into in this video. I'll link you guys to it down below. It should be already in the description. But I'm seeing the wrong types of deposits. I'm seeing more specifically the types of transfers, online transfer checking. If you guys see that in your bank statements, that is a red flag. It may be that you're getting paid by certain vendors or one vendor or a different way from some other customers or from somebody you're working with strategically. So they're moving money from their business checking account to your business checking account. Is it personal to business to business? We can kind of see that stuff, but it's not always easy to verify like what types of funds these are, like what happened in their bank statements. We don't want to have to pull them in. They weren't an owner, so they were from a different company. So in some ways that can work, but the majority of it will not. So if we're seeing that in bank statements a lot, just be careful. Make sure you're getting funding, you're depositing it directly into that business checking account of yours. Your ACAs, checks, deposits, electronically, your wire transfers. Where are they being wire transferred from? Another business checking account? Multiple ones? Well, we're going to need to see all those months of bank statements. Those 3 at least months of bank statements. Depends on the lender. So be careful about this whole transferring, especially if you have a lot. Like I've seen a lot of people's recently for certain months. Like you had a lot of online transfers. We can't look at online transfers as organic deposits. They're not counted as stated revenue or true revenue in this case. Like it's not a factor of your revenue per month and what it comes out to gross revenue at the end of the year. Net. Like a lot of this stuff is just transfers. And it looks like to our lenders that you're manipulating your bank statements. Even if we subtracted that, even if we said, hey, we're going to blind this amount and just saying that you did 3 to 4 million a month, we took out 100,000 or $1 million of that, and you're realistically doing just 2 million if we look at this other deposits. So your bank statements need to look clean because that can spur a lot of problems down the road when you receive funding. Like you don't get funding from these programs anymore. You lose these vendors. You lose out on these vendors and these partnerships. Then you end up losing money on other ends and other ways that you deposit. And those deposits that we're seeing are more legitimate, but we have to be very careful of it because you run this type of operation within your specific industry. So without going too far into depth, just be careful of that. And then I always see the bank statements on top of that, the like starting and ending bank balances. There's a very sporadic amount some months. Other ones, you're in the green. In the beginning of this year, I see a lot of bank statements. When I look at them, I go, hey, the beginning months, they were not off to a good start. And then we look at the middle. We're looking at summer now. And like summer, everybody's like booming. Like I see this huge increase in starting and ending bank balances, deposits, the types of deposits, the limitations and withdrawals. You're withdrawing less of your account than what you're depositing. You always want to keep more in your account than what you spent and when you withdraw out of that. And we check all these transactions. And there's a lot more like average daily bank balances, the sales that you're making on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. What is your actual profit loss, right? Your net income. When I look at profit and loss statements, if I have to look at them for specific programs, I had looked at a lot of them last night. I spent time on a few people's who I looked at their year to date, and then some other recent years, and I compared profit and loss percentages. I did my own math on those, and I saw what was happening year over year, the profitability. What are they now quarter to quarter? Were they 10% at least profitable, or were they at least profitable within the last 2 years? We don't always ask for 10% profitability and a few other things. So with that being said, another part of this, if you're looking for an SBA EIDL loan alternative, there is a hybrid SBA 7A loan product with 90% approval and one of the fastest, easiest, and simple processes out there in the market. I won't bring it up on the share screen. I do have it on a different tab, but I will let you know that you need at least 2 years of profitability. You need to have 2+ years in business, a 680 and above plus FICO. Sometimes it's 650, but 660 is what's going to get you in, but majority of it is 680 and above. 680 and above is the factor, but in today's market, 700 and above is what you want. Realistically, 725. If you have that and above, even better. Clean credit reports, boom. Business credit established, build multiple accounts, 2 to 3 plus accounts. Awesome. That's what we want to see. FICO SPSS score, business liquid credit of about 155. Good. If you don't have it, well, does your consumer credit make up for it? Do you have very clean credit? Is it high enough? Minimal debt, low credit utilization ratio, under 30, 35%, depending on your credit, but usually underneath 30%, there's a lot more to factor in there. And then again, the minimal inquiries, debt to income ratio, low credit utilization, no outstanding payments, no late payments in the last 30, 60, 90 plus days, even more. No outstanding liens, no open liens, federal liens, personal business, blanket liens, bankruptcies, no foreclosures in the last 3+ years. Profitability and credit. And so that's another program, and I won't go into it specifically right now, but I'll leave information for you guys down below. I've made a series on SBA EIDL versus this, versus that, versus this one. So make sure you guys check it out. And then thereafter, let me see my screen here, hoping I cover everything in that email I said I was going to talk about. The interest rate spikes, we already went into that. 5.5, and then could be going up in September, even more. Feedback, spoke about it. And I even said it in my Spanish language, por favor, because I am fluent in Spanish as well. How do you get approved for maximum business funding? Same day? Well, you look at these types of merchant cash advances or a cash advance hybrid. You can even look at these more unsecured term loans. In some cases, now it's a little bit more rare that you get approved for the same day and get the funding same day. Usually it takes 1 to 2 days, not a little bit more, depending on the underwriting or how much information and your portfolio and how much funding you're seeking, which you can actually get approved for. It might take a phone call in 1 to 2 days with one of our underwriters. It could be myself on the phone too, but that's what's the expectation of it. And then without having to supply a lot of documentation, 3 months of bank statements, a voided check, copy of your driver's license. But if you have multiple business checking accounts, like I have a lot of people recently, I'm going to need to see multiple. Hi, Ibuka. How are you doing? Oh, it's still afternoon over here, but I know it's dark over there. I'll get back to you soon. I know we're doing this whole back and forth thing. I do apologize. I sincerely do. I've been busy. I've been flooded in my work, and that's not an excuse I'm making. I don't make excuses. It is what it is. You move on. But I have been, and I will get back to you guys soon. Some of you guys have said it in a sentence. It doesn't have to be said. You guys can just think it. Don't tell me, hey, I understand your position, and that's fine. If you guys want to show some of that empathy, I would appreciate it, but it's not like I need it. I know my job. I know my business. I know what I need to do and what can be done in the future. Maybe I might outsource some of this stuff like I've done with other businesses. I may bring my mom into it. Who knows? I know she's been having questions about it and stuff. And it's like, well, I want to have something that flows very well and, where I can, have my family. As in my mom, my dad, not spouse or any of that. Like, how can I bring them into the picture? Or I can give them more because they gave me so much. Your parents gave you so much. I didn't grow up in a rich household. We would say above middle class. I wouldn't say just above, like maybe somewhere in the middle of that. But by no means did we have the money. Did they have the money? My parents, it's Hispanic family, nonetheless. So underneath our household, when it was just me before my brother, I saw the apartments we were living in California. We were probably in like Huntington Beach, and then we moved from there to Fallon. We were like in Fallon Valley, and then we were like when I was very young in apartments in different places, and then we had to live underneath my brother's sister's house. They let us stay in, and then until they finally got their own home, and then we lived in Garden Grove for a long time. And it was a 1-story house. I miss it. I still go visit there when I go to California. That's a landmark to me. I know you guys probably do the same. Maybe there was a home and you guys go back there and you guys revisit it. I do that every single time I go to California. I go there, I soak it in. One of these days I'll probably go. I had that idea when I was there. I said, let's go knock and say hi to them. I want to see the house. tell them who we are. They probably don't remember us, and do a few more things. But I miss that area. It was a great place in Garden Grove, and I have other family there that lives there now that we went to go visit, not too far from the house where I used to live in with my younger brother. And so by no means was I given everything. Yes, I was given a great education. I was shown to live this better life instead of going down the whole cholo route or the whole, hey, I have some cousins over here who were part of, they were a lot older, but they were part of things that they shouldn't have been doing. And with people in my age, it was like, well, you could easily go into that direction, especially living in California. And so, being brought up, going to school, that's what my focus had to be. And my parents put me in that direction, and they put me in that position to focus on that. And I did that for a long time. I had a lot of ups and downs. I wasn't the best in the beginning. I'll tell you guys this, I got held back in 3rd grade. That happened to me. And I'm not always open like that with everybody. But I learned my lesson there after. Like, it wasn't like it was hard. It was just some of the stuff that I just didn't comprehend as easily as somebody else. And I made it a point that thereafter, boom, boom, then I started getting the accolades. I don't need them, but that's where I started becoming the best in my class. I started getting up. I was recognized in high school and college. And it's not because I was the smartest. I was just very meticulous. I became very skillful. I became very hardworking. And I said nobody was going to outwork me. And that became the case. So it's not a case of, hey, I'm better than anybody. It's a case of, how can I put myself in a position where I can work more smart, but at the same time work hard? And so, not to go too far off on a tangent, working your way up, you appreciate these things. So over here, I already went into the PPP stuff. The employee retention tax credit, you guys can get up to $26,000 per employee. The grant opportunities, I have one open on screen, but because of time, I'm going to go through it rather quickly. I have one open here in Washington. But SSBCI, and the next to it, type in your state. There's still some states who are opening their grants in equity, private equity, and a few other things. But don't be put off that it's not there yet. Look back in time. I'll try to update you guys. Just about 50 of the states have been, and not like every single one of them has every program released. And so that's what we're looking at within the SSBCI, as opposed to some of the other ones I probably spoke about in the past that weren't fully passed, or they were moved onto this COVID relief. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much sums up everything that I wanted to release in this video. You guys have a better understanding of myself. I opened up a little bit. It's hard. One of those things I just said, it was pretty difficult for me just to say that. But it's difficult when you try to do this alone. I'll reiterate it and I'll end it here. We're about the 1 hour mark. It's hard to do things on your own. You don't think you need leverage. You don't think you need somebody else, but you do need that partnership. You do need somebody who's going to go through the trenches for you. Who's going to get the information from their underwriters, who knows them, who can speak to them, who can email them, who can gather more information from the lenders. Say, hey, Jeremy. Hi, John. Hi, Lisa. We're still working on your file. Hope to get it back to you in about a day or two. I'll check in with you. I'll keep you up to date. Hi, Lisa. We have an offer for you. Did you happen to check it? Here it is. I sent you an email, or hey, here's who you want to refer to. I also have that information, but you want to go to this email, or you want to do this. And I can go over it with you. I'm not going to pressure you, but I'm going to remind you, hey, what's the reason why you need this funding for? Just remember why you were seeking this. You probably didn't get what you wanted at the right rates, at the right terms. But if you could take this and then flip it and then come back and get more funds, double, triple, quadruple your ROI, or you're in real need of this, then it makes sense. And then we come back and get you more funding. But that's the way you approach this. You don't want to go say, hey, I'm going to go find another offer. It doesn't work that way. And so most of the time you end up into like tricky scams and fluff and theory. And I just got a client the other day so I knew what was wrong with this file, but I had to check with some of my lenders and some of my underwriters and my team, because they've been in it much longer. Although I am great at what I do, and I do this exceptionally to the T, where I'm going to make sure I get everything that I need for you. Not saying that like in a cocky way. I'm saying that in a confident way and humble way. But they were given an offer of over $600,000 in a line of credit revolving. Like, what? We couldn't even get you that here 2 months ago. How are you getting the $610,000? and it just didn't make sense. It wasn't like this direct lender like they were imposing to be. They were tricky. They were a company from New York. When I saw the words New York when I looked deep into like the contract and I looked deep into some of the work that they shared with me, I thought, no, this is too good to be true. But let me just check. I'm going to entertain this. I don't always go ask anybody else. I know this already myself, but I want to get a different perspective. And then I got the same response that I had assumed. I even laughed, like I smiled, not laughed, smiled at it when I saw the response. I'm like, this is what I exactly said to myself. And I had already explained to the client. So it doesn't change anything. So just be careful who you guys are going through. Now over here, I'm not annoyed, Ibuka. I want anybody here to know as well. I know me and Ibuka, we have a bit of history here. We've been trying to get a hold of one another back and forth. I know I did some time ago. I appeared a few times and then I didn't get a response, but then he responded and it happens. But a lot of it, I'm on top of it and we can just have that communication there on and out. So I'm not annoyed by anybody. Sincerely, I'm not annoyed. Like, I mean it. Like, I'm that guy who looks at you like this. Like, I'm old. I'm like 29. A lot of people say that I'm old. But the thing is, I'm not annoyed. And I will help anybody. So I'll get back to you. Hopefully it's later today, not tomorrow, because Fridays are my catch-up days. And I'll ask for a few things and just see where we can go from there. And that goes for anybody. I'm very meticulous. I'm crossing my T's, dotting my I's. Don't worry. Question me, do it. That's fine. Have anything you want to ask me about when it comes to the process or what you're looking at or what's the underwriting like here? Why would this one be better than that one? I'm not going to just turn you over to mine because I want the money. No, I'm not doing that. If this one makes sense, it does for this reason. But a lot of the times it doesn't. It's like, oh, I found a hole. You actually want to do it this way. And whether you believe me or not, go ahead, do it yourself. Come back 9 months later, you would have said, oh, I wish I would have done it this way. I would have been out of this in 6 months or 3 months. Okay, told you. But you chose to do it the way you wanted to. You wanted to. It's that whole quick instant gratification. Don't expect instant gratification. Delay it. This is the reason why when I go and sit and I eat my dinner, my lunch, what do? I'd stare at the food. And some people look at me like, that guy's weird. But because I'm soaking it in. I'm like eating the food before I'm actually putting it into my mouth. I know a lot of us do that already. But I'm like appreciating it here. I'm like probably doing a little prayer. And I'm being thankful that something so simple as a cucumber is just sitting in my plate. Okay, not one little cucumber just sitting there, but I'm saying like a mix of things. But I'm just like appreciating my food for being there. And I'm like, so much appreciation in life for what I've gained and what I've lost. I pray to a dog that I just passed away. And, you know, he would always come up to us when we were eating at the table and I'd always give him food, give him meat, give him, non-dog food a lot. But, this is for you and me. This is for us. It's like here's an invitation, come be here and have dinner with us. So it's like those little things, they go a long ways. And it disciplines me and it keeps me with you guys every single day, working hard and hard. I wake up, I drink water, I look out the window that I have fortunately to have an amazing view. And I don't ever take it for granted. I look out of the whole landscape. I see trees in the distance. You can see the clouds right above it. It's almost like the tip of the tree is just about to touch a cloud. I turn around and then I go do what I have to get done. So that'll conclude everything for myself. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but appreciate you all for tuning in. Gone over the time. I know I said 30 minutes, but you guys get a lot of information from this stuff. And I'll always keep you guys up to date. Look for everything you guys need in the description, the questionnaire, the other forms of EIDL funding that are alternatives, and a lot more. As well as if you found value out of this video, I'd greatly appreciate you if you give it a thumbs up. Share it with others who you feel will get value out of it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member, but you know that you made their difference in their life. It came from you, not me. Maybe I helped you, but I said, hey, go help out an individual, pass it forward without expecting anything in return. And that's what my mission is, to help you without anything in an expectation. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. and click the bell notification icon so you do not miss any future videos I come out with. Ibuka, I saw your last comment there, and I'll say this. I'll get back to you here soon. Appreciate you and everybody else in here watching. I truly do. I don't just do this. Like some people go and they put a character. I don't put a character up. I've worked on myself very hard personally and in business. So that's everything for now. Thanks. Bye.